Good morning, it is Phoenix Amore. So I wanted to basically put a video out so that single mothers who aren't as athletically knowledgeable as they'd like to be could start to understand more dynamics that you didn't know play in the undercurrents, as I'll call it. So you'll be surprised. There's a lot of single mothers that I've met. In summer track, there was a couple of moms where I talked to, you can kind of tell they don't understand the sport truly, which is fine because a lot of times they'll have the sons that understand enough and they're, self-disciplined enough to go work out or figure things out for themselves. And so one of the things that I like to do and wanted to start doing when I'm doing these videos is kind of educate them on different dynamics. So it was funny because one of the mothers, she didn't know which leg. She said anchor. She says that third leg or whatever. And to me, it was funny only because I'm like, okay, her son's super athletic, but she didn't understand the dynamics of track. That's not knocking her. That's where, again, sometimes I see where there's holes and a need for people to be educated about stuff. So I just told her no anchors is fourth leg, this and that. So we started chit-chatting. Again, that's her son, who's the 100 runner, who's stocky, right? Who's built more like a 100 runner. And I'm like, okay, this is what I'm saying to you, X is core. And these are the things that are strong about him. And you'll notice when he runs the 400, what I'm talking about. So anyway, one of the things that I want to basically put out there, the dynamics of athletics. First of all, X's physique is more track/basketball. A lot of people for a while heard me say things like, okay, basketball and knees and all that kind of stuff. When they are younger and still growing, all that joint stuff, that's real. So even though some people try to skate away from hitting in football, that's real too. So all these dynamics, if you remember, I even kept him out of track for summer track anyway, for a couple of years because he was hitting the growth spurts. Because you'll even hear some of those kids having hip problems and all that when they're running and putting on mass so quickly when they're younger. In those growth spurts, that's what starts to happen, and the pains and the aches. Not that he's weak and couldn't take it, simply because I like to have him grow naturally first, and then you add on the mass naturally too. So he's stronger than what they look, because a lot of people don't even get the natural body is stronger than what you give it credit for. It's because we've been so programmed to be like, oh, we got to start lifting weights and blah, blah, blah. But if you do it naturally and progressively, you'd be surprised when you have all those ones hitting the weight so hard and they're like, well, why the hell is so-and-so still faster than blah, blah? Because it's natural athletic abilities still trumping some of that other extra stuff they're doing. But where I'm going with this, explaining the dynamics of why I probably had the dream last night when somebody was throwing all this stuff and like, how are they still okay? Here's what happens, ladies, and this is the beautiful thing about me working in a male-dominated field. The attitude of we're going to throw everything we have at you, and if you were able to survive that, then you get this respect. Some thinking is stupid. So what happens on the football field is when they think there's this athlete who's parent or who thinks he's all that, even if they don't really know. So they could read my blog, and even though my blog was meant to be educational and I'm using my son as an example, somebody would easily turn that into, oh, she's trying to sell her son or make him seem like he's all that. No. For those who know me, you knew my intention. For those that are just grimy and attention hungry, they're going to take it a whole different way. Now, some of that I brought the attention to myself for calling things out for what they were. But those that are mature said she even called herself out and her son out on things. That is the key, the self-awareness that has come with it. So understand what the dream was telling me. There were a few games that people threw a lot at X in order to try to hurt him. See, since she think he can play corner, they do that. It's some childish folks doing that. But as they start to see, like, dang, he really was holding his own. There was a couple of games where he straight got burned in that new position. And of course, you have people quick to do that because that was their whole intention. Be like, see, we told you. But any real coach, if you're watching the progression of an athlete, you go, this is first year at corner. He ain't do so bad at that corner spot. Maybe his mom knew what she was talking about. But it was, again, switching him up, getting him prepared to basically phase out of football, because there are some big boys out here. There's some 6'5", 6'6", 280. There's some big boys. By the time you hit high school up in Texas, you're going to see, and he got to see, there was a couple of teams he played. Not that he's that intimidated, simply saying, damn, these are some big boys. Understanding why is that mother that took him to see a real quote unquote tight end. All this stuff psychologically prepping him to get ready to understand when you hit high school, you may not be playing this sport, but you will play 2 sports. So even moving him around from the kids and say you should play all sports so you can be all level. Now you're not stressing him, you're not stressing me like that. So now everybody that wanted to understand my philosophy about why I'm moving him around, his physique, you have to step back. Now, if your son is built for football, he may do football and track. That's up to you. These are the decisions I'm making for him and to help him see why. And I said the decisions I'm making for him because he's still a minor. He's still 16 years old. So easily impressionable by coaches or kids who have their own agenda saying, oh, your mama got you weak and your mama got you. No, don't be stupid. Because there's some dads that think just like me that would tell you to basically go straight to you know where for trying to meddle in what path we're already taking. So he'd have these kids like, oh, you should play football and all this kind of stuff. So this is why you see me start snatching him away from certain folks, because I'm like, don't bring your butts in here starting to meddle. When I talk to his dad, like he's starting to like basketball. He likes it. And these are the things he's telling me as mother. You as coach, you as friend, shut up. That's where I am with it. That's why I started pulling him away from people, because when I get him to a certain level where his thinking is more grounded than them, because a lot of them just liked having a power struggle with X's mother, that's why I shut him down from some of these same people. So now everybody understands the dynamic. For one, look at your child's physique for real, realistically. Go to some of the other leagues. Don't always look at Pop Warner because they have the weight limits. And so your child may be kicking butt at some position there. And then you have I forget the name of the other league, but I'm looking. I said, I got to take my son to reality. I always say that to him. I'm going to take you to reality. That's a tight end. And that's when he was 12, 11 and looking like, what the hell? I said, nah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Keep grounded in your assessment. So now everybody knows why I made moves the way that I did. As far as the school thing is concerned, for those who thought, oh, she's enjoying having the schools on edge, stop projecting on me. I do not like all that drama. See, that's been the issue. And that's why I put more videos out so they can hear in my voice. I'm not playing. I think this is rather annoying. And when you have me starting to run into other parents saying, you know what, yes, this is what happened to my friend's son at the same school. All the schools have something. But no, when God starts seeing that she needs to hear some other people saying, no, for real, there was some other kids getting into stuff at that school. Now I don't have to take it like, oh, she was tripping and she was that. They were over dramatizing a lot of things going on with him. And I don't trust that they won't do it again. It is what it is. And so that's why I'm not in the position where I'm going to even subject him to going to the school. Because the simple fact is, I just put it in the vlog, they don't respect boundaries. And again, school's not even in. You know he's not going back to that school. Don't email me just because you're trying to fill me out and all that kind of stuff. I'm not bitter. I'm not even really just angry. I'm just at a point where I already told you he won't be back at that school. So anyway, folks, now you see how things have been playing out. You guys have a great day. Take care.